One more. I like this one. It was rolling. You like this one better? I like this one better. It's rolling. All right, hey, how you doing, guys? This is Remo here with Politely Armed Society, and right now we're going to go ahead and talk about this Sig Sauer P320RX Compact. You know, we had a little poll on Facebook on what video we were going to do next, and this happened to be the winner. All right, so this is my current everyday carry. Originally, I was carrying a Walther PPS Model 1. Loved it, loved the powder release for the magazine. Basically, it was very comfortable to wear. Only problem was low capacity. You know, when you first start carrying daily, one of the things that you prize more than anything else is going to be comfort. And, you know, as you become comfortable with carrying, larger and larger firearms become less of an annoyance, you know. Anyways, with it being a single stack, I kind of just wanted more capacity. And instead of getting more capacity, I moved on to a 357 snub nose Taurus 605. Liked it because, you know, it had less capacity but more payloaded. You know, 357 is it's a brilliant cartridge. Went from that to Heckler and Koch VP9 SK. The VP9 is an amazing model firearm. The SK is the subcompact. It's a little bit smaller. Not a lot smaller, but a little bit smaller than the full size. And very comfortable to carry. You know, I loved it, and it just shoots like a dream. It's the only firearm I could say I think it really does make the shooter better, because that doesn't really happen. And I know all my gun guys out there are gonna be like, "No, firearm can't make the shooter better." You know, look, it made me better. Right? It's just the ergonomics on it, bar none. You know, it feels good. It's very balanced, and you know, it's a subcompact that when you're shooting it, you don't even think about it. It just fills the hand, but it's small enough to put on your waist and forget about. In any case, you know, started doing some matches. When you start doing these firearms matches, you definitely need capacity is your best friend, and you know the timer is going, so you look for an edge. And I had the opportunity to buy this P320RX Compact, you know, with the carry optics. The carry optics is the red dot on top. I figured it would give me an edge, and close range, yeah, very, it helps. It definitely helps close range, but all in all, for matches, I do prefer the iron sights. You know. But I started to carry this because I got a nice holster for it, and I kind of just wanted to see what it felt like, and I got so comfortable with it. It's still my everyday carry to this day. It's been like that for over a year. In the matches, you know, it doesn't do bad. One of the problems that I find with it that especially newer shooters may tend to dislike is that it's a bit snappy. Now, the recoil on it, you know, takes some concentration to control it, and that is probably more or less because you know, it has an optic on top, and it has a very heavy slide, and the framework on it is, I mean, it weighs nothing. It's just a piece of plastic for the handle. But it's not unmanageable. It's just something that, you know, if I'm shooting, like if I'm at the range and I'm going through just cycling ammo, and I've been shooting my other firearms, and I get to this, you know, real quick, it's like, oh yeah, snappy. You know, then you just bite down on the grip a little bit more and move on. Capacity is great. It does take, it comes with a 15+1, 2 magazines. The magazines are expensive, you know. Sig Sauer and Heckler magazines are very expensive. They're like $40, you know, or higher. So it came with 2. I bought a 3rd one. That way I could go through the matches, because 45 rounds should get me through a segment of a course. If not, then I'm having a really bad day, and I'm kind of happy I ran out of ammo so I could regroup, you know. In these matches I'm talking about, if you ever look up the John Wick training with him and Taryn Butler, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We go out and do that on weekends. I had a great bunch of guys introduce me to it, and Once you start doing that, there's no turning back. I recommend it for everybody who chooses to carry a firearm. If you have the opportunity, please participate. This is going to make you more comfortable. You're going to learn how to go through the functions that it takes to put a round on target while being on the move and under stress, while maintaining the utmost levels of safety. And that is something that you just cannot practice for at the range. That static shooting at a standing still target and having all day, it's good to get you familiar with the battery operations, but it's not going to get you through a tight situation per se. Back to the firearm. I didn't like the trigger. The trigger was too curved for me. So I changed it to flat trigger, the action enhanced trigger. It doesn't change the weight of the trigger, it just changes the purchase on it. So my fingers on there doesn't move, that the original trigger, it was so curvy, it felt like my finger changed position through the pull, and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I was in the Army, I understand where your finger's supposed to be on the trigger and that it's supposed to stay there, So, what else can I say about this thing? Suppressor height sights. Oh man, I've fallen in love with suppressor height sights. I want them on everything now. They're just easy to acquire. Like the sight picture, it feels like it's almost there for you already. And I had the misfortune of shattering my optic after having it for about a little over a year. I still don't know exactly how it happened. I'm thinking that maybe some spent shell casings or something that caused a stress fracture and it just went ahead and gave. But I called up Sig Sauer and, before I hung up the phone, I had an email that had my paperwork for me to put it in the boxes, send it back. As soon as it got there, the turnaround on it was probably maybe 12 hours. I had the next alert. They had a new one on the way back. So, you hope you never have to use the customer service, but it's nice to know that they're going to treat you first class when you, if you ever have to. And they definitely took care of that. I've never, ever in my entire life had customer service that really just jumped in there and took care of everything and left me speechless like that before. So thanks Sig Sauer, appreciate it. And anybody who's purchasing one of these, one of their products, I hope that you accept that as another reason to do so, because we got to support companies that take care of their customers. Outside of that, I recommend this. It's on the verge of being traded out right now. It'll be taking its spot inside the safe because I got a P320R Emperor Scorpion, and oh man, it is just perfect. And maybe it's it's one of those things that's chasing the dragon when it comes to us who have fallen in love with firearms. And the next one is always the best one. I don't know, but I got nothing but good things to say about this. Battery life is great on the site. I changed the battery once. I bought this firearm December 2017. It's May 2020. Of course, this is not the same optic either, but I believe it's the same battery because they told me not to ship the battery. So I think this is actually the same battery that was in the original one, and I never turn it off. It turns off by itself when it sits still for a while, and when you move it, it cuts back on. So, this thing has some nice features. The other thing is that this is a modular platform, so the trigger assembly is the only part that's serialized. So once you buy one, you can change out the grip modules, slides, and all of these things around that without having to buy an entirely new firearm. You can order the grip modules off of eBay and have them delivered to your mailbox. I mean, that's convenience. That also, like if you want to have a setup that you use for when you do matches, or you want the larger grip module because you want maximum capacity, or these are all things that you can do over time. So you buy one, you buy all kind of. In any case, thank you guys for tuning in with us. Hopefully we'll have some more action-packed videos in the future. We're all suffering from hindered movements based on this whole COVID-19 thing, but Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon. Don't forget to go to the website and buy some merch. You know, should always buy merch. It's made in America by Americans.